Beginnings on the cusp, not too old to adjust. Old dog, new tricks. Remember, I was just a pup, something dirty in my cup. Clean soul, good.
Yeah. Someone got gun on that dirt. Yeah. Yo, if I were podcasting, it would be insane. Knowledge flowing like the sweetest rain. Professor Bear on the mic, spreading wisdom wide. Of his thoughts, that's my pride, can't hide.
With the voices in your ear, changing the game.
If I rule podcast.
Welcome, and thank you for joining me this evening. I am Professor Bear, and this is A Bear's Thoughts. So, guys, girls, unfortunately, my guest who was supposed to be here today, she had to reschedule. She is going to be on the show, but just not today. So, luckily, I was able to reach out to a good friend of mine, the Legend J-Mac from Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc. Sir, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I appreciate you having me, and I apologize to all you fans that they got stuck with me instead of the other guests. But I'm glad I could help.
It's definitely great to have you on, my friend. So, a couple of quick things. First, I want y'all to check out my sponsorship corner. We got Navarra Comics. If you're anything like me, a big wrestling nerd, as you can tell, you see my Justice League poster behind me, and then if I can move my big head out the way, you can see my Black Panther poster. I'm a big comic book nerd, and Navarra Comics is the place to go. Even if you're not in the Knoxville, Tennessee area, they will ship comics to you. So check them out. They are a great comic book company. Then we got one of my favorite shops to go to, Tag Team Toys and Collectibles. When you're talking about wrestling memorabilia, they have some of the greatest stuff there. I mean, matter of fact, they are selling my ECW collection that I had. As they do great work. They have comic books, they have VCR tapes, they have DVDs, they got cards, they have Hot Wheels, they have so many different things there. You have to check them out. They're located in Clinton, Tennessee, and if you reach out to them, they will also can send you stuff. Also, great place. And last but not least, Chops Cards and Collectibles. If you're looking to have your own personal set of trading cards, this is the company to do it. And with that, you can get 15% off your entire order by using the code BEAR15. So check them out also. Now, let's get into this conversation with my man, the Legend J-Mac.
You already got me excited to go to like Gatlinburg or something and stop at all these places, man. So like, it ain't but a 3-hour trip for me. So
I'm telling you, definitely and the card, the vintage trading card. I am working on getting me a set because I'm telling you, you can get I think it was 12 custom cards for $50. I mean, wow. You really can't beat that anywhere.
No, not at all.
So that
be a better business card anyway. Just hand that out, you know.
Man, I'm telling you. And a matter of fact, I know a wrestler who's done that. His business cards are trading cards. It's amazing.
Hey, you talk about a good idea for real, you know.
Yeah.
It's the guy's name. It's who, it's his picture,
And he'll sign it. See, he's ahead of the curve. I'm telling you.
You get a contact and a collectible all in one.
Man, I'm telling you. So I wanted to ask you, I see that you're linking up and going to do the 4 Horsemen podcast. Man, tell me about that.
So basically what it is we are 4 different independent podcasts that are just going to come together under one umbrella and kind of, just shoot each other guests and, things of that nature. It's just kind of piggybacking off of each other, helping each other with guests, promoting each other, just helping get each other's names out there and, kind of networking with each other, honestly and truthfully, to simplify it.
I love it. It's a great idea. And with you saying that, it made me forget about this QR code. You don't know about it because I didn't even tell you. Guys, girls, man, make sure you hit that QR code. That would take you to Headlock, Heels, and Havoc's YouTube page. You got to check them out. They are great. I love their content. They have amazing guests. And what I love about them, they're knowledgeable. It is such a great podcast. You definitely need to take the time and check them out.
And honestly and truthfully, the thing about us too is what we don't know, we're willing to learn. I've been watching wrestling for 40 years, and I admit that I don't know everything. I know a lot, but I don't know everything. So, hey, bring it to me. If I know it, I know it. If I don't, educate me. I love the sport. So, Uncle Slam's the same way. Unfortunately, he couldn't be there. Shout out, Uncle Slam. We love you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's talk about what's going on in wrestling. With WrestleMania around the corner, how do you feel about the card so far?
It's funny you asked that because we actually were bringing that up on our recap show last week. Go check that out. We did a recap, and then we did a little deep dive on Harley Race. Found out a lot of interesting stuff about Harley Race that I did not know, but I'm a big Elvis fan. Found out that Elvis was a huge fan of Harley Race too. So, hey, that makes Harley great in my book too. But no, as far as the card, honestly, me and Uncle Slam were discussing this. There is something about this WrestleMania that the buildup is not there. I honestly and truthfully think that only in the past couple of weeks have they really started hitting us with the buildup. I loved I called it, but I loved the whole Randy turning on Cody thing. I knew that was coming because Drew and Randy wasn't going to make money the way Cody and Randy would.
Right.
But then with the Obafemi and Brock Lesnar thing that happened last week, that got me excited, and then to see what really got me, and it really changed my opinion a lot on Brock Lesnar, was when he was laying there and you could tell he told Oba, put your foot on me, let's make you look good. And then as soon as he did that, you could see Obafemi crying. That tear was going down his face because he appreciated what Brock just done for him. And that, but as far as the build up, man, I'm not so excited about this WrestleMania. I mean, I hope it changes, but
I feel the same way. And I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of wrestlers getting hurt and them again. And this is something I always criticize WWE about, is they don't build up their mid-card guys and girls to step into the spotlight if someone gets hurt. Now, again, and let me say the Roman and CM Punk thing, I've enjoyed them going back and forth. I have. I'll be lying if I say I didn't. But I don't care about Punk. I honestly don't. I just feel like, and maybe it's me looking at Punk as being a hypocrite, because everything he says, he's turned around and made comments about all the, when he was younger, he made all the comments about how the older guys were doing and stuff. Now he's turning around and doing the same damn thing.
Yeah.
And
It was like he was anti-establishment. Now I'm just going to go ahead and be establishment now and everything.
right.
Yep.
And now look, I'm okay. Everybody wants money. I have no problem with that. But for you to be so anti-establishment and I'm all about the money. Like, damn, you worse of a hypocrite than the people you talked about. You talked about Triple H. You talked about Kevin Nash, and now you're them. And I get it. When you are in a certain space, a lot of times you don't understand what another person is getting. I mean, coming from. That's just like John Cena when he talked about The Rock, when they had their feud.
Yep.
Oh, you're not a real wrestler. Well, I'm here all the time. You went off to Hollywood. Well, damn, Cena, you went off to the exact same thing The Rock did. Now you get it. Now it's like, my bad.
I feel like as soon as he said that whole SpongeBob thing came up 5 minutes later, and then, he was there. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm just, I hate the whole. I don't know. That's the thing about it, is I don't know what direction they're going in, because to me it almost seems like they're going to try to go back to the bloodline thing again, and I'm sick of it. Like Roman Reigns by himself, that's fine. I don't want to see Roman Reigns, mid-card Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso, the one that's overlooked on everything, when he should probably be the one that's doing what mid-card was doing a year ago.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. I don't see the direction, and maybe that's what's confusing me, is I'm used to seeing where they're going with it down the road, and I just don't see it. And maybe that's a good thing too. But just like you were saying with Kevin Nash and then with CM Punk, to touch on that for a second, at least Kevin Nash would look at you and say, hey, if I can go out there and do 4 moves and make $4 million, then I'm going to go out there and do it. At least he let you know what his purpose was there. He didn't try to act like it was more or less or something different. You knew. With Punk, it was like, oh, Triple H bad, all these other guys bad. Now look at me. I'm going to do the same thing because I need money too.
and again, I always look at it like this too. I understand their point of view. And again, people change. At the 30-year-old me is definitely different than the 52-year-old me. But in the same token, the way you came across, the way you dog people, the way you just went on, then you turn around. When you were in AEW, you complained about the younger guys not listening and they didn't know how to work, and they're about themselves, but you were about yourself. You had to go down a path. So don't criticize these kids for having to figure out what path again, it's like this. If you don't want to listen to me, that's fine. You don't have to. You walk your own path. But I'm not going to get salty or my feelings hurt because you won't do what I tell you to do. Well, don't. That's fine. That's your path, your thing. Then later on, if you see what I was trying to tell you and you want to talk about it, that's fine too. I guess that's what the thing with me and Punk stands. He's a hypocrite that won't say, hey, you know what? I did the same thing or whatever. He won't take responsibility. That's what bugged me about Punk.
Just admit that, hey, I kind of seen the light. I can be this against the grain guy and still make money.
Yes.
And and nobody's going to get mad at you, because if I can be, whatever it is, if I'm trying to be a corporate guy, if I'm trying to be the stone cold type anti-establish, anti-hero, whatever, nobody's going to get mad if you're trying to make money either way. Just be honest about the fact that you're trying to make money and stick to what you're doing. Hey, I don't like the way he's doing that, but if I can get my hands on some of that money, I'm gonna get my,
and I think that's all I ask of Punk. And again, I would be a fool not to recognize what Punk brings to the game, because he still has tons of fans. I'm not lost on that fact. I'm not lost on he's still popular. I just don't like what he's doing. And again, granted, that's fine. There's so many different other wrestlers out there. That's and one of the reasons why I like Seth Rollins, because he calls Punk out on his bullshit.
Mm-hmm. He's just straight up, I don't like you because you're a hypocrite.
Exactly. And that's why I like Roman. Both of them can tell him you're a hypocrite. And when it's just something about Roman when he calls him Phil that just cracks me
yes up. I agree 100%. Sorry, I don't know what happened to my camera there, sir. I'm still here. There it goes. Yeah, technical problems. I'm telling you what, that last Monday though, when they were going back and forth, when Punk said that about the family name and said like Takamakalaki or whatever he said, I don't know how to pronounce. I was like, oh wow. I was like, either they had to have sat down in the back and said, hey, is this okay?
Oh yeah.
Because if I'd have had to punch somebody if they was really making fun of my family name like that.
I tell you what was funny to me is and again, another one of those things, Punk is a talker. Punk can draw emotions. But to see Roman just calmly just hit him with you're old, and that's what sets you off.
Right.
I just laughed my ass off. And I love when Roman got in the camera was like, he's in my head, huh?
Mm-hmm. And see, this is what kills me though, is because I seen a rumor that a line about CM Punk's dog Larry was supposed to be said, and it was like it was vetoed or whatever. But my whole thing is why are we vetoing? And I get it, people love their animals and stuff like that, but why are we vetoing a comment about a dog, but we're okay with like talking about dead people, dogging on dead people?
I've seen that same one, and they're just saying they want to save it because everybody knows how close he was to his dog, so they're gonna save it to probably the last Raw.
Give it last little dig.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see it. Yeah, that I'm gonna be honest though, these last couple of weeks, the exchange with the Usos and the exchange with Roman, those three things, the Orton and Cody, the Obafemi and Brock, and the Reigns and Punk it's got me interested. But like I said, it's just now got me interested. Right. I feel like I should have been interested a month ago in the road to WrestleMania, and I just wasn't. I don't know.
I think a lot of times too, there are some avenues that is like, oh man, this is going to be a great WrestleMania that we know what's coming. I think this one has been so chaotic, and we've been sitting back trying to figure it out. That's why a lot of people hadn't been excited for it.
Mm-hmm. And to your point too about everybody getting, the Vision. I mean, we've already had like 18 different members in the Vision. It's like, Lord, man, why instead of just plugging somebody else in, why don't we just blow it up? call it a day, blow it up. It didn't work. Let Seth come back and just beat everybody up and, break up the vision, and we'll figure something else. Cause I don't care about, who's going to be in there next week? Colonel Sanders, it's just, well, it makes no sense. Me and Uncle Slam been calling them the division because they're getting divided up, and nobody's having to do nothing.
It's waiting. They're playing the waiting game to see who's going to be healthy enough to make it. I think Braun definitely is going to make it back, and it's going to be him and Seth.
I can see that.
I saw a rumor about Gunther and what Gunther is going through, and he hadn't been seen. From what I've heard, they're waiting, trying to see if Rey Mysterio is going to be able to make it, so him and Gunther can do it at WrestleMania, so Gunther can have another retirement.
I just seen a story on that this morning, and I don't know if you've seen this or not, but Rey Mysterio is adamant with the office that it's nothing against Gunther, but he wants Dom to retire him.
And honestly,
why not?
I think that's the right move.
Yes.
Because him and Dom has been going back and forth so much, and they would give his son so much damn heat. Mm-hmm. Not that he needs his dad, but I think it's right. I think it's the right call.
Plus, what an honor! Not only do I get to pass the torch to a younger talent, I literally get to pass the torch to my son.
Yeah,
that's an honor that not a lot of them get, and the opportunity's here. Let them have it.
Yeah, and hell, how long has Ray been doing so much for the WWE? Why not be able to give him that?
Yeah. The man he's given everything they've asked him to do. He's pretty much done. So, what's it going to hurt?
Yeah. Let's switch over. I can't switch over without talking about Brock and Oba. That, I understand why he cried. And I was telling somebody, I said, you can tell when Brock wants something to happen, because people don't give Brock enough credit for his selling. When Brock says, I want to sell for somebody or put somebody over, Brock goes all out.
Yep.
And that fall from grace looked like the greatest power bomb ever. Brock sold that. I would give him a damn Oscar for the work he did.
Right.
And smart enough to say, put your foot on my chest.
Yep. And the thing that got me about that, and like I said, it really changed my perspective on Brock, because for a long time I was like, Brock's prima donna, doesn't want to lose to anybody. But maybe it's not that he didn't want to lose to anybody. Maybe it just didn't make sense. Maybe Brock is just that much smarter than everybody and says, if it doesn't make sense, why would I lose to this person?
Exactly.
And maybe it harkens back to like the Hogan days and stuff like that. I'm not saying that Hogan didn't actually use it sometimes that he shouldn't have, but I think Brock, that showed me that Brock, even though he stepped away from the business, even though he's, since he's come back, been a part-timer, he still respects the business, and he cares about wrestling, and he remembers where his roots are.
Yes.
So if it makes sense, he's willing to go out there and make anybody look good. But if it don't make sense, why would I stop being the monster?
Exactly. And man, that if they go ahead and Oba wins that, they've just put a rocket on his back.
Yep.
It's an amazing thing. And again, I have to give Brock credit. Like you said, a lot of us, I would include myself in that, think, oh, he's such a prima donna. He doesn't want to do business. No, he was doing business the right way, and we just didn't see it.
Yep. So let me ask you a question, if you don't mind me turning the tables on you here real quick.
Sure.
We know that SummerSlam, I believe it's SummerSlam that's in Minnesota.
Right.
We know that's going to be Brock's last match because he's announced he's retiring this year. Who would you rather see retire him? Do you think that they should hold off with a finalization between the Oba Brock story and let Oba retire him? Or after you've built him up to be a monster, let Gunther come in and retire him?
Myself, I think Gunther, because it makes more sense to his character. Oba can do so much more, and he's such a young talent. Most wrestlers get one victory over Brock, you're set. And I think with everything they've been doing with Gunther, I think it's only right that he retires him. And I think that they had screwed up Gunther before. I think it'll be a disservice to him not to get that last win over Brock.
My only issue with this Gunther thing is, like, one, I hate that they kind of turned him into this retirement machine, because that wasn't who he was. He was a wrestling technician. I could out wrestle you in the ring.
Right.
But the other thing that's underwhelming to me about it is I wish to God they would find him a different finishing move. The sleeper hold is so generic and everybody uses it. I was telling Uncle Slam, he retired Cena. I'd start using the FU as my setup, and then I'll use the STFU to, finish people off. Start stealing a move from everybody you retire and then show that's why I'm the greatest, because I can do their stuff better than they can. That's the way I would have went with it, but to me, this whole sleeper hold thing, I see people put a sleeper hold on 15 times on a show, so what makes his any more special?
And I understand your point of view on it. I argue this. Gunther has been that guy who didn't need a finisher. He could finish you in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And that he's so unpredictable and is so throwback to the old school mentality of my finishing move may be something just generic and basic, but that's how vicious I am. I can take the simplest move and make you lose to it.
I can see that.
And that's why I love Gunther too, because he's just a throwback. And with him being a throwback to the classic wrestlers, I think that is his finishing move. He can do any classic hold that anybody else can do, but he can beat you with it.
And now that you say that, with us both being old NWA fans and stuff, like, I don't know how many times I've watched an old NWA thing and somebody just done a basic body slam and then just got on somebody and covered them, and it was 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, huh? Why didn't they do their finisher? What just happened? You know what I'm saying? But that's the way it happened back then. And, especially with NWA and that Southern wrestling.
Yes.
Up north, if you didn't hit your finisher, you probably wasn't winning.
Right.
But I see what you're saying now with that point. It does make sense. He's just that guy that can do that.
And I tell you something else that that got pointed out to me that I did not realize about Gunther. He's only wrestled 2 matches since he retired AJ.
Really?
I was shocked. I'm like, no. Then I got thinking about it, and look, he only had 2 matches, and both of them have been against Dragon Lee. He hadn't wrestled.
I wonder what see, I hate when they do that. We like this again, me and Uncle Slam, we was talking about this. I hate when they build somebody up, then take them off TV. or you give somebody a championship and I don't see them for a month and a half.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, does the WWE even have tag team titles anymore? If they do, where are they? And, like I've seen the Usos a couple of weeks, but I haven't seen no belts,
Yeah.
What I don't know. I don't get the build up just to make somebody disappear.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's that thing like, and I think this goes back to our Southern roots and NWA wrestling. The titles meant something.
Yes.
You were a champion. You were proud of that title. You always came out, and they had the 30-day rule. You had to defend your title in 30 days. Now, hell, you can go. Jay Cargill went. I damn near want to say she almost went 3 months without defending her title. And
I love what Carmelo Hayes is doing with the U.S. title, the Invitational. To me, they have turned that that U.S. title into the modern day TV title. It's the championship you're going to see every week, and I would almost rather see him now because I know he's going to be there. And, I know that he's the champion. It shows up. And
they're going that route with Penta since he won the Intercontinental title. And like you, I love it. But I again, you have all these different championships. And again, I get it. You don't want to oversaturate your champions. But then in the same token, what's the point? If I have a women's heavyweight champion that doesn't defend her title, and the U.S. champion is defending her title more than you, what does that say about you as a champion?
Right.
What does it say about your division? That is my biggest pet peeve. You don't have people to go after the title. It's like no offense to Me Chan and B-Fab, but what the hell are they getting world title shots for?
Right.
They hadn't won. They got beat up by the U.S. champion. Then you're going to pull them up to fight the world champion. Why?
But then you've got guys like Road Dogg, which we've seen in creative, that are fighting for these younger people to get these shots. And I hate to say it, and yes, this is a knock on Triple H. He's not letting them go over because, like he said, who you going to beat? Well, you can beat anybody if you write it that way.
Right.
If you put the machine behind them, it's going to work, but you've got to stop shooting them down in production meetings and actually go out there and give them a chance to do it. Because like you were talking about, if I've got 2 women's world champions and I'm just going to send one of them home until this feud over here is over with, and then I'll send this one home and then bring this one. Why do we even have 2 world champions? Why don't we just condense it down to one and you're done? And if that person needs some time off, well, we can send them home, and now we're not missing a belt off the show.
Exactly.
Again, I need 10 minutes, 10-minute time limit every week. We need this back, guys.
Yes. And speaking of which, I always wonder why WWE never had a television champion.
I think they wanted to get, to me, WWE has always done everything to get away from everybody else. Everybody else had the national championship or the U.S. title, so they had to have the Intercontinental. I don't know if I've ever heard any other company use the title name Intercontinental. If they have, it's, I
can think of 2 right off the top of my head. New Japan for a while had the Intercontinental Championship. Matter of fact, MVP won it. Was it the initial champ? Was he the first original champ or the second champ? I can't remember, but MVP held that title. And Jericho was the only man to hold both titles of the New Japan and WWE's version.
That would see that's pretty cool. But that's the only thing I can think of is that they just I don't know. Like I don't see the reasoning. It doesn't make sense why you don't have an every week champion on your, I don't know. I don't, there's a lot of things that the WWE did that I don't understand. And just like, I can't remember who it is. I mentioned this with Uncle Slam a few episodes ago that I noticed that a lot of wrestlers, they don't consider that didn't work long for the WWE. They don't consider that championship a world championship because of the fact that it's only defended in that company. Now, I know every championship now is done like that, but back
Right.
in the day when like Harley Race, I believe he's one of the ones that spoke out about it. The NWA champion was going to Japan. He was going to every promotion around the world and defending that title. If it wasn't WWF, then the title wasn't getting defended. And I think that has put a stigma on the WWF as much as it's helped it. It's put a stigma on it that they're in their own little bubble. So, and we're not going to acknowledge anything else, which we know that's how Vince used to be. And they're
Yes.
starting to acknowledge more, but it's like, did that help or did it hurt?
I think it just depends on how you look at it. And I think too, it depends on how you came up in the business. Like, and I tell a lot of people this, for us, and I truly believe this, for us Southern wrestling fans, wrestling was everything. It wasn't just entertainment. It was real sports. And we could see you going to different companies, different promotions to defend titles. And that made a big difference to us versus where WWF was just in their own bubble. Now they knew about these other companies, but your belt is nothing like ours because ours is special. Our world is so much better than yours. And for a while that carried it, but I think now that Vince is gone, they see the value in acknowledging other companies because you're bringing in a lot of stars from these companies that people may know. It's almost stupid to not acknowledge their previous history.
And to be fair, Vince kind of started letting that happen with TNA, I think the first one I ever saw was the TNA women's champion being in the Royal Rumble a few years ago.
Right.
Vince was still in control then, but I don't think Vince was ever going to let the reins loose to where you were going to have interpromotional matches like
Right.
the NXT TNA crossover thing that happened.
Well, and I go back to this because and it's funny that we're on this subject because in the early 80s, they did do a lot of promotional battles, and and most of them ended up in countouts or time limit draws because, of course, neither company wanted to look bad against other companies because you never could agree.
Right.
But and coming out soon, we're going to have one of the first major cards that held the AWA World Championship on it and the NWA World Championship on it. And matter of fact, the AWA champion at the time loses his title on that big card, which at the time was Rick Martel. A lot of people don't know that Rick Martel was a world heavyweight champion.
Yes, he was.
And he loses to Stan the Lariat Hansen.
Yes.
And it's on this card that's going to be coming up on our app that we're going to be getting back out very soon. And it's going to be amazing. We dive into a lot of history and a lot of different things. it is such an amazing journey for fans who don't know the history of wrestling. You get to learn so much. Like, another great thing that's going to be on our app is the history of the Four Horsemen. And we're not talking about just when they were doing. When I tell you the history, I'm talking about you find out how it started. It started with Thunderbolt Patterson and Ole Anderson.
Yep.
You can see the whole thing for that year, and you're going to get to see how Tully came a part of it. And it's a whole journey that you're going to get to see on our app. I'm telling you, we've been working very hard to get this stuff out here, and I promise you, people are going to enjoy it. For the casual wrestling fans, we got something for them. For the hardcore fans, we got something for them. For the history buffs, we got stuff for them. This is going to be a great thing, and I promise you, when it comes back out, people are going to enjoy it.
So I'm gonna have to go ahead and apologize to some of my family members and stuff when I'm stuck in this app all day and everything. Is what you're saying?
Yeah. Because one, I tell you no lie, one of them I got so caught up in, I had to stop watching and just. I was like, okay, I can't watch it. I got to get these tapes done. I got to get it done. I got so involved in it and thinking, oh man, I was a kid and this. I was like, no, stop.
I forgot that happened, man. And then you just sit there and like, yep. And I know exactly what you mean, man. I do it all the time. I'll sit there and I'll go to start watching something just to get like a 30-second clip to see what happened, so that I can touch on it in a show. And then next thing you know, I'm 30 minutes in watching this entire pay-per-view that I didn't plan on watching.
Yes.
I do it all the time, man. So let me ask you, I don't know how much time you got left, but I'm interested to ask you a question too about, do you think that this rumor about Vince and the Saudis buying back the WWE is going to happen?
I think it is. But with everything going on now with this war and different things, I think it may upset it. I truly think that that he's planning on it. But now with everything going on, it's going to depend on how that shakes out.
Well, I've seen already that they said something about that they are they've already canceled a couple of shows until they find out exactly what's going on. So I mean, that may affect WrestleMania next year.
Oh yeah.
And if it does, hey, I don't know. WrestleMania to me needs to be here. It's our Super Bowl of wrestling. I get it, Canada, into Mexico, but to me, WrestleMania is an American pastime, just like the Japanese super shows. You're not going to see the Japanese super shows in Cairo, Egypt. It's exclusive to them. It's what they do this for their fans in their country.
Right.
Even in Canada, Mexico, American fans can get to it. I don't know many American fans that can pay to go over to Saudi Arabia for a week and, so on and so forth. So, I mean, to me, I get they're trying to do the worldwide thing, but I personally think it needs to be here.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
no, you're fine. Go ahead. I was done.
I understand your point. I truly do. If they did it if they did it in London, I wouldn't have a problem with it. If they would do it in countries where there are not issues, and again, I feel what you're talking about. But a lot of the European countries, I'm okay with, because I feel like they've done just as much as us American fans, and on top of that, Now we're not going to be able to get over like we would if it was in the US. But I think it's okay. You need to expand a little more. I just don't think Saudi is the place. Now, I know why they're doing it, because they're making killer money. You know how much money all these shows are dragging in over there. Hell, I can't blame them for going over there. It makes business sense. But then you need to have a good balance.
Yes.
I think. And with TKO in itself, they give a damn about a wrestling fan. I mean, it shows in what they've done with this WrestleMania. They overpriced everything. And then you had a 50-mile radius where you couldn't show the WrestleMania. Now they have to go back on it because you realize, oh man, we're losing money and people are upset. Well, we got to cut it out because people are not buying like they used to, and people are not spending it. Look, if I have to spend anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000, that's just the show. That doesn't include my meals, my lodging, wanting to go to other shows, maybe buy some merch, and my how I'm getting there. I'm not spending that much money.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can order a hellacious amount of food, get me a 24-pack and sit at my house and enjoy the show for 2 days.
I can have the show here and charge everybody $5, and we will have a great time.
Yep.
And again, TKO is money driven. They don't care about fans. They only care about the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's so bad that I seen on 316 they had to actually have a discount.
Yeah,
for the ticket prices, because that shows you right there how bad ticket price sales are, because of the fact that I have never in my life ever watching the build up for WrestleMania ever seen Vince McMahon advertise, hey, if you order today, we'll give you a discount price, because they didn't need discount prices.
Yeah,
you know, it was still family friendly because Vince understood his audience. For all his flaws. You know, he's a human being. He's got his flaws, but he understood the fans.
And on top of that, let's just say we wasn't in the damn economy that we are in today. I mean, we're barely making it day to day. Hell, gas is almost damn $5 over here. I mean, shit. I looked on. I think it was in Los Angeles. I'm like, they are spending $8 a gallon.
Mm-hmm.
$8, man, hell no.
Right. I'm just,
I got pissed. Look, this is crazy. I got pissed off at my gas station, cheapest in Knoxville. They just hit 307, and I'm throwing up a damn fit. And everywhere else was almost 350, and I'm like 307. I'm like, hell no, I ain't paying. This is stupid. But again, with that going on, and with the way the world is, the way America is today, tourism is down. Why in the hell, if I did not live in America, why would I come over here to go to a show where I possibly could get arrested, my family could get arrested? Due process is a thing of the past. They will hold you for days. And no, I'm not taking that chance to come over. And I'm coming over paying much, much more than I did before. Man, come on.
Right.
You got to be more in tune with what's going on in the world.
the risk for this next year's WrestleMania is not worth the reward for fans to travel.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that. And again, not to get into anything political on your show or anything like that, but I'm not taking my wife or daughters over there.
Hell no, I'm not going over there. I understand why people ain't coming over here. Man, as long as I got a TV and internet, I'm good. I'm always good.
Exactly. And talking about the gas and everything, I was pitching a fit myself and everything. And hell, I don't do nothing but go to work and go to the store and come home. And I'm still mad. I gotta pay these prices.
Exactly.
It don't make no sense, man.
It really don't. Let's switch over and talk about AEW for a minute.
All right.
What did you think about the MJF Hangman Page match?
Honestly, I haven't had the chance to see it, but I read the summary of it and everything. I've got to watch it because MJF is probably my favorite wrestler right now out there, just as he knows how to get the easiest heat, and just to be, like I said, just be honest, I haven't been able to watch the match yet, but let me ask you this. Is that the match where the needle went through the,
Yes.
It's so unnecessary. So unnecessary. What are we showing kids? You know what I mean? I mean, we had enough issues with the backyard wrestling stuff. We had enough issues with parents not taking responsibility and telling your kids, hey, just because you see somebody doing a power bomb on somebody on TV, you don't pick your 3-month-old baby sister up and power bomb her, because that was things that happened.
Right.
So I don't understand the glorification of that part of some of the stuff that AEW does. I think it's just for shock value, and it's totally unnecessary. I'm sure that when I watch that match will be enough on its own without that spot. And I just don't think that stuff is necessary.
And I can understand why you say that. And I feel like there's a lot of people who feel the same way. And I understand that point of it. And my defense is, and this is what I usually go through, at least it's on pay-per-view.
Yes.
It's not on regular TV. So you have a buffer there.
Yes.
I think that, and these are some of the things too that go back to us being older wrestling fans. We saw that type of violence. Now, we didn't see the needles, but we saw violent things. Like I tell people all the time, ECW wasn't the originator of hardcore wrestling. No way. If you saw an Abdullah the Butcher match, you knew you were going to see at least a pint of blood. You were going to see a fork, possibly a fireball.
Little hepatitis here and there. No, I'm just joking. Sorry.
So I always tell people the violence has been there. I think for me, the match was great. I thought, knew it was going to be great. You had two great people who can work and do some amazing things. I love the fact that MJF came out in Terry Funk tights.
Okay, I seen his legs and the tights, and I wasn't for sure, but as soon as I seen it, I was like, huh? Yeah. So that was one thing that was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this and everything, see what's going on.
He came out in the tights, had the cowboy hat. Like we always talk about, we're story-driven wrestling fans. I love the story that they told. It was just so amazing. And now, with Hangman cannot challenge for the world title, where do we go from here?
See, that's one thing that I don't like that AEW has done a few times, especially with the Cody part and everything. And of course, it was Cody's decision where he was a part owner and stuff and everything. And which, to a point, I kind of see I don't know what to call it, but the looking out, I guess he was doing, to where he was showing everybody in that locker room, I'm not going to be a Hulk Hogan where the title's got to be on me. And I think, I'm here to make everybody good. But you pigeonhole yourself, because then you can't set certain matches up. You can't set certain feuds up. It stops certain storylines that could happen, unless you do some kind of an angle where that stipulation gets thrown out, because he wins and everything. That's the only way I can see an out. But they're going to have to do that out at some point in time, because Hangman, I was going to say Hangman, when I first started watching it, I wasn't sold on Hangman.
Right.
But he has definitely, over the past 5 years, built himself up to being what he is now. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no. I was just going to give you, they already gave the out.
Oh, did they? Okay.
At the press conference, Tony Khan said that was a gentleman's agreement. It wasn't in the contract. So technically, he can go for the title. But he says that everybody knows what type of man Hangman is. He won't do it. But down the line, for some reason, he can jump out of it. So they've already gave that out to it.
Okay. Well, at least they're doing that this time.
Right. And for me, I'm glad. I knew he was going to lose. I had no doubt about that. I think that's good, because now this gets to create him to be a different wrestler and go after other titles. Now it's going to show value to the other titles that he decides to go after.
Yeah.
And like I told somebody else, I like, with Hangman out the way, there's another person can step up to be in the main event picture. And I'm like, and one rush right off the top of my head is Bobby Lashley.
Yep.
Him and MJF have history. So there's so many different people, and I argue this fact all the time. And I tell people, as much as a lot of people don't like AEW, and I can understand why they may not, I tell them they are better than WWE in this facet. They have enough contenders that legitimately can fight for the world title, make sense, and it's not the same 3 to 4 people. Like, no offense to Sami Zayn, but we all knew Sami wasn't beating Drew.
Right.
And that's not Sami's fault. It's just the way they've pigeonholed him to not be nothing but a mid-carder.
He's that I'll fight to the end, but I just can never get over that hump guy.
Right. Now, I think they're setting it up where he's going to get over the hump this year. I see it. I've seen it with everything with Cody. He'll be the next guy to turn on Cody.
Yep.
But again, at least you have contenders, and it makes sense. Versus in the storyline, like Andrade, he can be a contender.
Yep.
You got, of course, Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, John Moxley. If he wants to get back into it, he could easily do it. You got
Will Ospreay.
Will.
I love Will Ospreay, man. He is so good in that ring.
I got a chance to see a Will Ospreay match for the first time in my life. And it wasn't just a Will Ospreay match. It was him and Kyle Fletcher, the first time they wrestled. I was there live. I knew that Kyle Fletcher was going to be something special. I didn't think they would do it the way they did it, but oh my God, both of them guys are amazing. And
oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to
no,
cut you off. Go ahead.
and that's where I was going to say they have a strong mid-card division where you can move different people in different places, and it still makes sense to me anyway.
The thing that I really like about AEW as opposed to WWE is WWE win like a title like the Intercontinental title or the US title when it's not popping like it should, or the story's not popping like it should. WWE very rarely takes one, and I tell people this all the time. They, people need this to happen to lend credence back to titles. WWE won't take Cody Rhodes and put the Intercontinental title on him again because they're not going to step him down to work with all the mid-card guys.
Right.
John Cena was willing to do that when he was the U.S. champion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But nowadays, you're not going to see Roman Reigns go back and be a U.S. champion. You're not going to see anything like that. AEW, say that national championship's not clicking the way it should. Or, the story's not going, oh, well, look, MJF lost his world title. Now he went out and attacked, whoever's got it at, current stage. And he's going to win it. He's going to win it because he's a world champion that is challenging a quote unquote mid-carder. But at the end of the day, when that one mid-carder steps up and beats him for that title, oh, look at the credibility it just gave back to that wrestler. It just gave back to that title. And it just makes more sense to me.
It lifts everybody.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And it's easy. And I always look at it too from this perspective. It's easy for us being outside what we think should happen. And again, with wrestling, you got to be taking count when people get hurt. That tears up your storyline. You got to be able to reflect. When people are not happy, you got to be able to get them in control and do things. One of the blessings that I have with doing my the promotion appreciation month was getting to understand and see a lot of promoters, the things they go through. And I thought to myself, man, I know a lot of times I sit back and think, man, I could produce better than this. My mind, but there's so much going on that you have to put in consideration. It is so much harder, and I have a better understanding and appreciation for promoters of what they do, why they try to do, and sometimes ideals just don't hit, like you said. For whatever reason, two particular people, it sounds like money, but it's crap. Fans just like, no.
Hogan Flair.
You got to learn how to pivot from that, how to get the fans back.
Hogan Flair.
Yep.
Prime example. Everybody wanted to see it for 10 years. And then when it finally happened, it flopped.
Yep.
It's just the way it is, And to your point too, like, I'm getting ready to, hopefully I'm getting ready to do like a little series, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know how, but I'm trying to work it out. But I'm getting ready to use 2K26 to produce some shows. Right. Just a fantasy league. There's going to be 6 companies. There's going to be one company where all 6 companies meet for the undisputed title. Blah, 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 so on and so forth. I'm going to, use the game to, play promoter.
Right.
But here's the difference. I can sit here and give you the best matches in the world, but I can't in real life make that happen necessarily because it's easy to put it down on paper, like you said, and it's easy to make it make sense that way. But can you manage that personality with that personality and get them to actually work together to make it make sense and make it good?
Right.
That's an art that, we don't stop and think about that they have to deal with every single day.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I guess too, I believe it's just the older I get, the more I'm becoming wiser. I like to think of it like that. But getting to meet so many different wrestlers and talk to them and see things, and it blows my mind on how, if I were in their shoes, how would I be? Because I'm like me getting, like, I got to talk to a referee, a young referee, and I said, "Hey, do you mind if I give you some advice?" He said, "No, that's fine." And I said, "Man," I said, you're good." I said, "But when the time is down, you just stand there. You can't do that as a referee. You got to be more active.
Yeah.
You just can't stand." And I said, "When you make counts, you got to be more animated about it. The 1, 2, 3 is boring. You got
not only that, I don't necessarily know what you're doing up in the nosebleeds. All I see is your arm waving. Right. I need to know you're 1, 2, get animated. Let me know up there what you're doing down here."
Right. And after talking to him, and he seemed to be very open to the conversation, I got to sitting there thinking, I'm like, I ain't never reffed in my damn life. Now, I've seen thousands of refs, and what I see, I was like, but, and that I thought to myself, he could have easily told me, "You can't tell me anything. You've never done it."
Right.
And he would have been right, but I was glad that he was open enough and didn't get offended by what I saw to try to help him grow.
Yep.
And I think there are times when we as fans, we have that, "Oh, I know" mentality. And we have to be very careful with that, because we never did it. Even though, hell, I'm almost 50 years into watching wrestling. Yes, I watched all this wrestling. I've seen so much, but just because I've seen it, I do not still understand. I've never been a ref, so I never understand what they really go through. Okay, you're doing the ref thing, but then you got to let these guys know, "Hey, we got this much time."
Yep.
You got to watch out for some crazy fan jumping in the ring. You got to be there to try to break that up and so it's so much. And I never want to insult anyone and step out of line. So I'm definitely learning to have, if I want to say something, I preface it by, I don't mean to be offensive. I'm just telling you what I see from a fan's perspective.
From the outside looking in.
Yes.
And that's it. Because as fans, we have to remember that, and as podcasters, we have to remember that, yes, we're analyzing it, but we've got to remember to analyze it from a fan's point of view. And too often we can get into the habit of trying to analyze it as if we know from a performer's point of view, just because we've watched it. Well, I got news for you. I ain't never taken the first flat back, and I ain't about to try to tell somebody how to wince, how not to wince, if they should scream or what. I'm going to tell you what I think I saw. Did it look fake? Hey, from a fan's point of view, it looked fake. It looked great, whatever. But, that's as far as I can go with it. And to me, like you said, I would be disrespecting the performers who have actually put their blood, sweat, and tears into crafting this art. Whether you're at the pinnacle of it or just starting out, you still have done more than I've done to this point in the business.
Yes. And I always take it as a compliment when someone asks my opinion about something. Mm-hmm. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. That you're the athlete. I'm just the fan. I'm just the podcaster." No, but I know you've seen. I know you pay attention to stuff like that. I'm asking you for your point of view because I believe that will help me. Do I need to work on it more? Did you really believe it? Do I, whatever you see, I'm appreciative of the advice you give me.
And I have to catch myself sometimes too, because I'll make the comment, since I've been in the business, I'm not in the business. I'm a podcaster. I'm in no way, shape, or form in the business, so to speak. I have been allowed to step parallel to the business, and sometimes see a little insight, peek behind the curtain, but I'm not in the business, and I have to catch myself.
Well, and I go back and forth with that because, like you, I'm like, no, I'm not in the business. Well, I have people tell me, no, you are in the business. You just on this level of the business. Don't take it. I'm like, no, I think I'm a good person and I'm good at what I do. I just don't want to be insulting to you.
Exactly.
Because you put in the work, you put in the training, you the one doing this. I'm not doing that. So I never want to be disrespectful. And I've had, like I said, I've had several like, no, you are a part of it. Don't take yourself lightly. I don't. I just want to be respectful.
And that's me. I've had people tell me the same thing. And it's, I don't want to put myself up there like I've done something that somebody else has done way more, and who actually is in the business. It's
exactly.
I get to ride the coattails a little bit, and that's fine with me.
I just thought about it now, honestly. I've been able to have conversation with, was it 3 world champions? I've been able to talk to a lot of people that are stars, legends, and it's so amazing to get to have those conversations and to enjoy what I do. It's almost like I'm cheating.
Right.
It's like, man,
I put in a cheat code and I ended up here.
Yeah. When you get to do things and then you never really think about it, like with Joe Kazana, him and his family, they're some of the nicest people in the world. And I was happened to be watching the history of Continental Wrestling, and I saw their grandfather, and I thought to myself, holy shit, they really have been in the business for 60, 70 years. Oh, wow.
Continental, was that in Lexington or was that in Memphis?
The Continental I'm talking about was owned by Robert and Ron Fuller out of Memphis. I mean, not Memphis, I'm sorry, out of Pensacola.
Okay. I'm thinking of the PAFO,
right.
IWC.
Yes.
Yeah.
And some of the history that I didn't realize I didn't know and learn, and some of the stuff that, like, everybody, I think a lot of people just think Hulk Hogan came out of nowhere and was just the orange and red. And as bad as I talked about Hogan, I never would say he didn't earn his dues, because I remember when he was in this area in Knoxville as Sterling
Golden.
Yes. and I laughed and thought, man, Knoxville has a lot of great history that I don't think a lot of people know about.
I wish one time, like, that they would have done some kind of Hogan gets suspended. I mean, I know they did it with the Mr. America thing or whatever,
right.
But why did I want Mr. America so much less than I wanted him to come out as Thunderlips, the ultimate male? I just wanted to see it one time. I wanted to see the little feathered fedora. I wanted to see the cape. I wanted to see Thunderlips make an appearance in an actual wrestling match. That would have been great.
Oh, speaking of seeing a match, so again, being the professor and knowing so much, I forgot. I always hated Zeus because I knew he was an actor.
Yes.
And a great actor too. He was a great actor.
I love
Definitely.
Debo.
Yeah. I forgot that he wrestled in Puerto Rico.
Zeus did? Tim?
Guess who he wrestled?
Who?
Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh, wow.
When
Man.
and I tell you, as soon as our app gets up, I found it and I added to our app.
I gotta watch it because there was probably the least amount of wrestling going on in that match that anybody will ever see.
You cannot tell me that Abdullah the Butcher couldn't sell. I watched that match. I was flabbergasted on how Zeus did Abdullah the Butcher.
Had I never seen, because up to that point, I think the first thing that I had ever seen Tim Tiny Lester, was it Lester or Lister?
Lester.
Lester. Okay. I couldn't remember if it was an I or an E.
Right.
But up until that point, the only thing I had ever seen him in was Armed and Dangerous with John Candy. I love that movie. Still watch it to this day. As a matter of fact, I got it queued up on my Tubi. But yeah, hey, shout out to Tubi. If you want to, pay anybody in this broadcast, you can come on over to Headlocks, pay the professor. Anybody will sponsor us. We'll talk about you. But no, that's the first thing I had ever seen him in. And if I hadn't seen him in that and just seen him show up in WWE, I would have never questioned it. But it's things like that again, that WWE did that made me, I couldn't fully invest into the story.
Right.
Like between that, the Kane and Undertaker thing, I love Glenn Jacobs. I think he done a great job with the character of Kane and everything after it got done. But when it initially started, I didn't want to see it because the Undertaker was Kane. How's his brother? What, they just named them both Kane? Look, there's Kane, Kain and Kane. They just couldn't figure, a bunch of unoriginal bastards in their family. Ain't it? I'm like, what happened here, man? Why does he expect people just to forget crap that easy?
Yeah. It is such an amazing thing of what kind of jewels of wrestling are out there that many people did not know take place. Like, did you know the British Bulldog took on the Rock and Roll Express?
I don't think I've ever seen that.
This will be on.
Oh, yes.
Channel.
Now that you said that, yes, I've seen a clip. When was that? It hasn't been that long.
I want to say it was 88 or 89.
Yes. I remember seeing that now. Did you post that on your page or anything like that? Like a clip of it or something?
I may have. I can't remember.
Because I seen that and I was like, what? I was like, when did this happen? So that must have been like right around the time that they left after that first SummerSlam.
Yep.
Okay, because first SummerSlam was 88, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So okay, yeah. I did not know until I seen that clip.
Yeah. It's another great matchup. Swerve Strickland and they just wrestled at the pay-per-view. Brody King and Swerve Strickland. They wrestled 7 years before that.
Really?
There are so many just jewels out there that is amazing that I went down a rabbit hole one day. I was bored. and I wanted some good things. I thought, well, this would be good for the channel. And I found some amazing stuff. And I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know that. And I'm looking and oh wow.
Well, see,
I saw
Ricochet
Ricochet with her.
Oh wow.
It blew my mind. I'm sitting there, I'm like, no, you're not Ricochet. There ain't no effing way that you're Ricochet. But it was him with her.
That's crazy. I'm trying to think of somebody that I've seen like that it just blew my mind. I can't think of any right off the top. Not right off the top. I can't, they're just, seeing somebody dressed different or something like that. And, not realizing it was them at first. Right. I guess maybe the biggest one I could think of right off the top of my head would be the Just Incredible Aldo Montoya thing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what that is. Like, after I seen Just Incredible as Just Incredible, and I found out he was Aldo Montoya, I was like, why? Why would we give him that name? He's not Spanish. He's not, he just some bald white dude. Why are we putting all these weird gimmicks on people that, don't need them?
What? Here's another good one for me. We grew up in the same era. I was still a big AWA guy. Not that they were my favorite, but they had a lot of good wrestling. Mm-hmm. And I remember they had a tag team called Bad Company. Pat Tanaka and
Paul Diamond. Yep. Became the Orient Express.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I laughed at that because I was like, that's Bad Company. Why they put him under a mask? But then I thought, okay, they put him under a mask just so they wouldn't see he wasn't Oriental. That made sense. But on top of that, that was my first time seeing Diamond Dallas Page because he managed them.
Yep, in the AWA. Now that you mentioned that, I'd forgotten all about that. And see, that's another thing. I had forgotten that Paul Diamond in the WWE wasn't the original member of the Orient Express.
Right.
It was Saito and Tanaka.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out on a limb, and I will die by this, and people can say it's because I'm an HBK fan through and through, but the Orient Express versus the Rockers at the Royal Rumble, I believe it was 92 or 91, one of the best matches, and probably the match that stole the card that night.
And one of the reasons why is because they used to wrestle in the AWA.
Yep. Bad Company versus the Midnight Rockers. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's so amazing when you go down that rabbit hole of people and different things. Like again, and I know I'm spoiling this stuff, but these are gems that a lot of people would not know until they get to see it themselves. We have an AWA card where Hulk Hogan wins the world title,
but he didn't get it.
They stripped him.
Yep.
And basically, the AWA was WWF. So they took most of the wrestlers, took them, and they stole most of the ideals and did it. Like Bobby the Brain getting put in the weasel suit they had did in the AWA.
Yep. All kind. Well, it's like when you to go to your point, like they brought all these guys, Martel, Henning, the Rockers, Lord, the list goes on and on. When you leave yourself with the only person that you got on your show is Greg Gagne, no offense to Greg, something's bad with business. The writing should have been on the wall. You know?
Man.
I mean, when you got to bring Jerry the King Lawler up, from Memphis and stuff. At that point in time, I hate to say it, because AWA, with the talent that they had, Greg just Vern didn't want to change with the times. He was too traditional. He didn't see the writing on the wall that wrestling is not your grandpa's wrestling of the 1950s and 60s anymore. It's entertainment now. It's wrestling, but it's entertainment, and he didn't want to put the entertainment side onto it.
Yes. The most you could go down their roster, and most of them
I know
came to be legends in the business.
Scott Hall.
Yes. Him and Kurt Hennig were tag team champions.
What was American Eagle, Hawk, or whatever the hell his name
American
was?
Eagle.
Like, what in the world? Like, was Scott Hall such a bad name that we had to go and do all that?
And he had another one. I think it was like Spaceman Cody or some crazy.
Like Cody Wolf or something like that. It was weird. It's like, what are they? Are they aliens from another place, or are they do they Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that morph into animals? What is this? Some of the things, and it's funny to go back and watch some of those gimmicks that they tried to put on people before they made it. With a different gimmick. It's like, I would have never guessed that, Ric Flair at one point in time could have passed for Dusty Rhodes' twin. It's like 300-pound Ric Flair was weird.
Every time I see that picture, I'm like, there ain't no way that was Flair. No fucking way that was Ric Flair. And even with Dusty, Dusty was skinny as Dustin.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
I 100% agree with it. It's crazy to see this. So let me ask you this. Do you think that Marty should get because I've seen the petition, shout out to Addie Janetti. I've talked to her a few times. Nice lady. Been trying to get Marty on the show and everything, but can't due to extenuating circumstances. But she's been putting out a petition to get Marty into the Hall of Fame. Do you think he deserves a Hall of Fame induction? And if so, do you think he deserves it as a singles or as a tag team with the Rockers?
I think he does. I think he does deserve it, and I think as the tag team, and let me say this too. There's a lot of people that hadn't made the Hall of Fame. One comes to mind is the Dynamite Kid.
Yes.
And reason being because his daughter also is trying to have a petition for him to get in the Hall of Fame. I think a lot of people get left out the Hall of Fame for different reasons. And again, I'm gonna bring up a tag team that should have been in the Hall of Fame that haven't been, and I think it's pure bullshit. Is you got the Rock and Roll Express in there, but you don't have the Midnight Express.
I thought they put the Midnight in. Did they not? I thought they did a few years ago.
Nope, the Midnight has not went in. Jim Cornette has not been in.
See,
how? And again, no disrespect to the Rock and Roll Express. Love them.
Yes,
Ricky Morton is such a. I can actually call him a friend. He's a friend of mine. Love him. They deserve that. But if they deserve it, how in the hell their dance partners didn't deserve it?
Exactly.
Midnight Express has did so much, and they're not in the Hall of Fame.
Yep. It's a travesty that Bobby and it's nothing against anybody else that was in the Midnight Express. It's a travesty that Bobby Eaton is not in every Hall of Fame there ever has been across the world. That man was He didn't have the body. He may not have had the, great looks like, Lex and, all these other guys, Sean and stuff. But that man could go out there and work with anybody you put him in the ring with, and he could make the story believable. Top 10 wrestler, in my opinion, all time.
The old saying, you put him up against a mop, you'll be cheering that mop before the match is over.
I would have liked to have seen, and I know I say this a lot because we've said this on our show about we may have brought it up with you too, about how just the petty rivalry between Sean and Brett robbed us of so many great matches. Because at that point in time, could you imagine having, like Sean, Brett, Owen, and Mr. Perfect, all four of those guys just battling back and forth, in and out, that's 2 years worth of rivalries right there,
Right.
and it pretty much writes itself because those matches would have been great. But I would pay money with no bias, no gimmicks and all that stuff, just to see a straight up professional wrestling match between Bobby Eaton and any of those four men I mentioned. And I guarantee you're going to get the same exact results from any combination of those four. He was just that good. And the Alabama Jam, man, you think Hulk Hogan's leg drop took a toll on him? Imagine jumping off a freaking top rope and landing on the ground.
Yes.
I'm surprised that man could still wrestle at the time that he was, later on in his career that he was.
It goes back for me to when I talk Hall of Fames and different wrestling careers. There are so many men and women who do not get the credit, get the respect of the business that they truly deserve. There are so many indie wrestlers that made people look like $1 million that they would never get their just due because we never look at them the right way. And I've said this before, and it's no disrespect to anyone, but we need a workers' Hall of Fame. And when I mean workers, I mean those people that we call jobbers that had put over so many different wrestlers, made them look great.
My number one, Barry Horowitz.
Yes.
Great wrestler, could go with anybody. And I actually enjoyed whenever the WWF actually gave him that little push there for a little. That was great. I was like, wow, man, Barry Horowitz is doing something, man. All I've ever seen is him get beat up and everything.
I think Iron Mike Sharp.
I swear he was the next name on my list, man. I'm telling you, me and you are like right here, man. Yeah. But like he's another one. And people don't realize that Iron Mike Sharp was a big name before he became a jobber. But that's how great, that's how much of a professional he was. He said, man, I've had my time. Let me go out here and help the business.
Oh, another person I think of, Pistol Pez Watley.
Yes, I love Pistol Pez.
It's so many great wrestlers out there that knew their position and was okay with doing their thing. That I wish that there was a way we could get them their flowers and let more people learn about giving to the business, because I think that's something that a lot of people don't understand, that you're very unselfish and willing to go just get beat up time and time and time again. You don't get any fame. And then every blue moon you have somebody do something like the Mulkey brothers.
Oh Lord.
The Mulkey. I remember when that Jim coordinated Mulkey Mania is going wild.
Man, I swear to God, I ain't never seen two jars of mayo walk around until I saw them two, man. And like I never understood, why are we talking about these guys so much? I never understood it. But being older, understanding the business and everything a little bit better, they had their place. And they got over just by being, guys to beat up.
I remember as a kid thinking, I turned him a new one. Let me get
like, I'm 7 years old and I can beat this Mayo up.
Man.
He ain't even Miracle Whip.
It's so funny that now I sit back and watch matches and certain people, I'm like, I need to make a shirt of them. I need you to start walking around and people ask me, who is that? So I can have a reason to tell the story.
Now you got me wanting to make a Mulkey Mania shirt.
I tell you what I have. So I do make shirts every now and then. I got a pistol pins that I just hadn't made the shirt yet. I got to get pistol pins and start walking around with that.
Yes, sir. I need me a Barry Horowitz with a big thing on the back, man. That'd be great.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell Superfly Johnny Lee, because he wears the sequin jacket. He needs to get him a handprint just on the back there in honor of Barry Horowitz. I tell you, I really am glad to see that finally whatever got through and that Axe and Smash are getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Long overdue. I hate that Crush ain't going with them, but I understand why. He was only there for a short amount of time.
Yeah. Again, goes back to, I can't believe certain people are not in the Hall of Fame. As much as I hated Axe and Smash, because for me, they were the Road Warriors ripoff.
It was the Temu Warriors.
You couldn't argue their title run. I don't give a damn who you are. They had the longest run for over 30 years. I mean, it's amazing.
One of the few teams or single wrestlers that have a win over Andre the Giant.
Yes.
For a title.
Yeah.
They beat the Colossal Connection. I never understood it. And I was sitting there listening to an interview. I can't remember who it was that was talking to him, but he had Axe and Smash. I was trying to say their real names, and it just Barry Dorso and Bill Lord Edie. That's what I couldn't think of his last name. Saved my life. But they had him on and was doing like a little interview with them. And they asked him, and I never knew this, and I would have loved to see this, but when Bill was making his way out, because he was about ready to retire and stuff and everything, the whole famous didn't slick his hair back and everything. Yeah. But when that was supposed to happen, they actually wanted him, not they as in the company, but Axe and Smash and Crush wanted him to transition to being their manager and letting it carry on with Smash and Crush. I think that would have worked.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why they didn't I don't know why. I think the reason they gave up on it was because it was like, oh, we got the Road Warriors now, so we don't need them. And it's like, man, it's so disingenuous because Lord, we got one Road Warriors or Legion of Doom versus Demolition match, and it was pretty much a squash match. And it was like, that could have been a 2-year run, back and forth and stuff. It made some of the stuff just makes no sense, but I'm so glad to see them guys get in.
Oh yeah, I am too. So far, I have to say this has been my favorite Hall of Fame inductions. I've never been a big Stephanie fan. I hated Stephanie to my core, but when they announced her going in, I was like, that's the right thing to do. She does so much for the business. She definitely deserves it.
I hated her, but that's because she did her job.
Exactly.
For the same reason I hated the $1 Million Man, and for the same reason I hate the Miz, they just did their job.
Exactly. Well, my friend, we have sat here and talked everything from under the sun.
And it wouldn't have to end if it didn't have to end.
Man, like you said, we are too much alike.
I tell you what, you're in Knoxville. I'm only I'm about an hour south of Lexington, Kentucky. We ain't that far away from each other. We're going to have to find a place to meet in the middle, just sit around a campfire and just, put a couple ones back or something and just talk wrestling without the cameras and the lights and all that stuff.
Yes, sir. We definitely have to do that. I had a great time. I hope my fans enjoyed it. And again, what I love more than anything, we were able to drop so much history on them that I think that's what I love to do, is talk the history and let people go and start finding out. Because again, whether you are a modern wrestling day fan or old school wrestling fan, wrestling has so much great different things you can learn from it, and stories and tales that you've never heard of, or even, like I was telling you, matches you never heard of that we're going to be hopefully bringing very soon to the app, that I think people are going to enjoy and be shocked by a lot of stuff they see.
Yeah, please let me know when you get that app up and going, because I'm definitely downloading it, and I will tell Uncle Slam and everybody I know to download it, because I'm like you. I love the old stuff. I love the new stuff too. Not as much as the old stuff, but that's just personal preference. But yeah, seeing stuff like matches I've never seen and stuff and everything, that's right down my alley, and I'll be staring at my phone for hours, and my eye doctor ain't gonna like it, but that's all right.
Yeah, I definitely get it.
I'll wear my sunglasses while I'm doing it, cut down on the rays. They're polarized.
There you go.
I don't know what that means, but the guy at the store said it was good. So. Cost me $50 extra.
Well, again, my friend, you are always welcome on the show. We'll definitely be doing this again.
Sounds good. Come, and same invitation to you for Headlocks, man. Anytime you want to come, just let us know and we'll get it done.
All right, my friend. Guys, girls, thank you so much for joining me today on this another amazing episode. Again, I am definitely about having fun and giving you some knowledge of the business that we all love. And I hope that you are enjoying the conversations. We're working on getting some legends on. We're working on continuing getting some of these youngsters on and giving you a new look and knowing what's going on. So thank you so very much for following me and joining me. As I always do, I end the show with this message. I will never stop with this. Please, please, please go and give support to your local indie wrestling promotion. You never know who they have there that are busting their tails to entertain us wrestling fans, and they just need our support. And it is so much cheaper than mortgaging your house to go see one WWE match
and risking imprisonment in other countries. And
exactly.
Do you mind me saying one thing before we take off? And everything? I was just going to say tomorrow night, 8:00, we are going to have OG Ugly and his wife Nina Darling on, and after that we're going to be flipping over to one of the members of the Four Horsemen of podcasting, the Sloans. It's a mother-daughter combination out of southern Indiana. They are wonderful. They cover all kinds of wrestling, independence, everything. Great, just tune in and enjoy their shows too and everything. Sorry, just had to plug a couple of things there and everything.
Not a problem at all. Guys, girls, again, please go support your local wrestling. Yes. With that being said, I am Professor Bear. This has been a Bear's Thought, and we will see you around the campfire very, very soon. Y'all take care.